Bing bong.
Bing bong.
Oh my God. Is this actually our first episode?
It is. It is. That is Delayed Dale, your favorite toxic survivor who can escape the entity, but she can't escape her real world problems.
Thank you so much for that absolute wonderful call out.
You're welcome.
And this is HenryK, my favorite friggin' person who is sweaty in the games, but doesn't forget to shower.
Exactly. And you're listening to EasyMode, the gaming podcast.
But listen up. We are professionally casual gamers,
We know a thing or two.
but nothing more.
But in all seriousness, everyone, welcome to Easy Mode. This show is going to be the most seriously serious show you've ever heard. And it's going to be ultimately about our love and your love and everyone's love for gaming. We wanted this to be a show where we talk about gaming in a non-toxic, non-superiority, no ego, sort of free, safe space for everyone. And that's what we want the show to be. So I can't wait to get this started. Dale, tell me, what are you playing these days? What's going on? What's on your Steam? What's on your Switch? Tell me what you're doing.
Well, first of all, thank you for that wonderful intro. I've been playing a lot of DBD. I am playing so much DBD. I mean, they have this thing going on right now where you got to log in daily to get yourself those daily achievements, get those daily stuff. They've got me hooked. And they know what they're doing. How about you? What have you been playing?
I do love a daily login. It's very funny that your favorite game is CBD and you are dressed as...
Wait, you can't tell who I'm dressed as?
Would you mind clarifying for maybe for people like me and others who can't tell?
I am Steve. I am Steve Harrington from Stranger Things and Dead by Daylight. Okay, I know I look like Amelia Earhart. I am being roasted by every single person who looks at me, but I am Steve.
I'm
think
Steve
you
Harrington. Look beautiful, Amelia.
Then tell me who you are. Guten
yes.
Tag to you. Let me guess. You Killjoy?
I am currently Killjoy from Valorant, my favorite character, and the game I've been playing the most lately. I am unfortunately addicted. It's my first competitive game that has any sort of rank system, so you could say I'm hooked. Meine Guten, I'm hooked on Valorant. That was good, right?
That
No,
was.
kidding.
I'm just gonna, let us keep moving.
Well, you know what? It's very funny that we're both dressed this way because these are our mains from these games. But it is also the topic of this week's episode, Dale.
Yes, this whole episode today, we wanted to start off with something strong, something really passionate for all of us here is your character, who you are. Choose your character, create your character, assign a main character, but still play the game, And a lot of these characters are a big part of like who we are and why we love gaming.
You know what? You said it. I cannot wait to dive into it. Across all those topics, I'm so excited. And should we get into it and get started?
I think we should just like dive into it. Let's do this.
All right, let's do it. But let's make sure it's on easy mode.
Bing bong. We're back. Hi.
We're back.
How was your break?
It was good. Drank some polar seltzer. Very
Excellent.
delicious.
So I want to like kind of go into like what the whole episode's going to be about.
Tell me.
So basically, whether you create your own character, you choose from an eclectic group, or you're assigned one through games on a main story, main characters are one of the most important part of any game.
Yes.
So Henry, I have a question for you.
I'm ready.
If you had to pick one way to have a main character, what would you do it? Would you have one where it's like, choose your character? Or would you prefer to make your own? Or do you like the games where they're just like, okay, you are this character, and like that's how you like proceed with the game? Like storytelling games like The Last of Us? What's your answer?
That's a hard decision. I do have to say that I tend to play a lot of games where you do get to pick from a group. Valorant being one of my favorite games right now, there's just a selection of characters that you pick from, all with different roles, whether you're a support, whether you're like tanky, whether you're a healer, a lot of different things that the characters do based on the game. Mainly because I play a lot of support characters and I like having that choice. It helps me fit into a team and play to my strengths. So I kind of like that for that reason.
Also,
what do you like,
add
Dale?
on to that, I agree with you. I play a lot of games where you do just like choose your own character. I like character creation every now and then, but it takes a lot of time. Like when I started playing Final Fantasy, it took an hour for me to create my character. Like that's 1 hour that I could have played the game. And it's not that I didn't like it or anything. Don't get me wrong, but how many games can you build your own character and like, all the different styles of like the ear shape? Why are there so many different ear shapes? You know, like how, and then you're like, is it A or B? Like, I feel like I'm at the optometrist, like A or B until I like pick the character that I want. So I would agree with you, especially with the kind of games I'm playing recently. However, every now and then I do like to just like not have the choice. Like if I'm going to play like a story, I'm the main character. and I don't have to like choose that. So yeah, I guess it depends on the game.
So Dale, if you had to choose from a group, let's go into the Super Mario franchise. There is Mario Kart, there is Super Smash Brothers, there is Mario Party. In Mario, who are you playing? Who are you playing as?
Are you asking who my main is? Who is my main?
Who's your main Super Mario character? Who is your main if it's a Super Mario franchise game?
If it's Mario Kart, Mario Party, anything, I'm always King Boo. Always King Boo because King Boo is so dramatic. Isn't King Boo? Are you
I'm
actually?
shocked.
I'm always King Boo. Always King Boo.
Yeah.
Or I'm like Waluigi because I love the memes, the wah, you know, like all of that. I love it.
I love that. I'm rooting for my boy Waluigi to get into Super Smash Brothers. Like Nintendo, if you're here, if you're listening, which we know you are,
everybody wants Waluigi. We have been demanding. We've been
demanding Waluigi. He deserves it. He is entertaining. He is interesting. Put him in the game with the unique moveset, please. That would be great.
What about you though, Henry? I hear that you play one character in specific. Do tell.
As people who I game with might know, and just sharing this information for everyone else. I tend to play the same characters over and over and over again. Confession time. I
actually had no idea.
And this might come to a shock, a huge shock. You're going to be flabbergasted. You will never believe it. But no matter the game, if it's an option to me in the Super Mario franchise, I will play as Princess Peach.
Princess Peach?
Yes. Now, I may be aging myself a little bit, but since the days of Super Nintendo.
Oh, Super Nintendo.
And specifically Super Mario Party 3. Super Mario 3. You were able to play as Princess Peach. Now, she really differentiated from all the other characters because in that game, she had the ability to float above, like just float along sort of for a limited period of time. And that's something that's carried on with her character throughout the franchise. You can do it in Super Smash Brothers. You can do it, not in Mario Party, obviously, but anywhere where you sort of can be actively as Peach, they sort of given her that floaty trait. And I've just always loved it. I feel like they give, for the most part, besides in Super Mario main games, Peach really does get her due diligence outside of those games. She obviously fills in the trope of being captured by Bowser.
She's
even though they've
also
updated
very
that trait.
strong. Like in Super Smash, like when I played on like the GameCube, she was very strong. Like they didn't she doesn't just like fall to the like the classic, I need helping. Nuh-uh.
No,
Peach.
She will pick out a tennis racket, a frying pan, and beat you across the head with it. And I do love that she is and I respect Nintendo for this, and I respect the due diligence they did in creating her character specifically for Super Smash Brothers, is that they gave her viability for, and the meta changes, but for competitive Super Smash. And she's a usable tournament winning character that people can use and that people main.
She's not like you know when a character's too OP or like they're banned from tournaments. Like I have heard like in Dead by Daylight tournaments that Trickster has been banned because of like
interesting.
Just for how fast you can beat insta down from the knives far away. Honestly, I hate going against Trickster, but I love how like each game has its own like way for us to like express ourselves. Like, so I've been asking some people, like, when you select a character, who do you select and why? Why do you select your main? So a lot of people have said that, they mostly only ever play women. And I'm like, wait a second. What do I mostly play? I only play as man. It's because I am lacking in strength and wonderful hair. But then I'm like, wait, why do I pick my mains? What draws me to my mains? Okay. I think it's like what's available in the store for skins, because I do like me a good fit. Okay, it's 20. We're going. Skins
has to have its own episode.
It has to have nice stuff.
I don't want. Recently, someone dropped me a link to check how much you've spent in Valorant so far.
Do they have something like that for Dead by Daylight? Because how much
I'm
have I
not going to
spent?
say it. I'm not going to say it on this podcast.
You're not going to say?
I can't. I was shocked.
Oh my god!
Because Riot Cosmetics are not cheap.
No, they aren't, but people want them. They get them.
I do want them. I bought one last night. Yeah. I'm willing to say it. I'm willing to say it. I bought two cosmetics last night.
I'll be completely honest with you. I dropped $40 on the Nancy and Steve because they were going to be removed from the store and I wanted a good fit. My biggest regret is I never got a freaking holiday sweater for Steve, who is one of my mains. As you can see.
Mains.
For
me, main characters, I agree. It's sort of with you. So, a lot of gay men play as a lot of women in characters. I feel like that's a very common trait. And for me, that has a lot to do with I guess like feminine strength.
Female empowerment, yeah.
You know, growing up, especially being like a young gay man, you know, you're called feminine, you're called whatever. But it's so great to see like this character with these traits that you've been told you have be like strong and powerful in a game. I'm like, yeah, I am feminine and I am Princess Peach. And I'm going to kick your fucking ass at this game.
You probably will. You probably will. Unless I'm Toon Link, and then I will kick your ass. Like I will just yeah.
We will play Super Smash Brothers after this, and I'm a force to be reckoned with. I got to take
off my wig because I'm gonna get sweaty. I love that. I love that. Also, something that I should note about like characters that we pick, and I didn't mention this earlier, is the voice acting. Like for example, in Dead by Daylight, when they get like hooked, yes. I love the drama of Steve screaming, or when David is like pulled out of the locker with like Iron Maiden, or like I'm just like yes. Like how did those voice actors? Oh my God. Did you hear Michaela? She's so loud. Like the actress like so went loud. In on it. So I know a lot of people like to pick based off of like the drama of the voice too, you know?
Yeah. I mean, voice lines are a big part for any main character, especially characters like in games like Valorant, Dead by Daylight, Super Smash Brothers, where there's not a lot of talking. It's not a fiction. It's not a game based on conversation or discussion. So you just hear those few lines every now and then. And that's a big part of it because the character's attitude is an expression of who you are as a player. And, you know, if they're portraying what you want them to portray, of course you want to play them. It makes them even more appealing.
Yeah. Also, in games where it's like more skill-based, you would pick a character that has like, I mean, like in fighting games, you'd pick Chun-Li if you want. I mean, I don't know
who told you.
That's your
That's who I picked.
Like, die, save lives.
I've only played Chun-Li for the entirety of the Street Fighter franchise.
Okay, yeah. So like I don't know much about like the Street Fighter franchise. I just know like the meme of Chun-Li, but like people do like to look up stats. Or I'll be honest with you, as a killer main, I do like to look at stats on like which one is ranked better. I am so sad that they nerfed Spirit. Justice for Spirit. Okay, it's so obvious I'm a Spirit main, but anyways, you know, a little bit of skill and
Toxic.
Like
you heard it here.
Like what the character has to offer really goes into play with what you pick. So,
now a different sort of style of choosing from the group, Dale, and we touch on this a little bit because we love to talk, you and I.
We do love to talk.
No shocker. Pokemon.
Oh!
That's sort of a different section of it's not a character you play as, but you don't really play as your character. You play as your Pokemon.
Yes. Also,
sort of a different concept, but still choosing from a group. And most importantly, sort of you have that sort of choosing your main character scenario at the very beginning of each game where you're offered 3 starters.
Choose your character. Or choose your type. So what's your of the starter 3, the very beginning, you know, because we're dating ourselves. Back in the day, it was me and you, baby. So was it fire, water, or grass? What was your go-to?
So I played almost every generation of Pokemon, except Black and White and X and Y. I wasn't around for those. I was Thanos snapped away for those few years, so now I'm back. Playing Sword and Shield and Brilliant Diamond and Pearl. But I do have to say, I've never, in the history of my Pokemon career, never not picked the water type Pokemon.
Wow.
I've never not done it.
I'm trying to think, like, have I always played as grass type? And I think I have. I think there was one time I started with fire. I don't know what was going on with me. I mean, no hate or shade to you if you start with fire. Maybe I was like going through something internally with my like life, but usually I play as a grass type. I just think they're so cute and they're pretty powerful. I'm still trying to figure out my main for Valorant, and so far I'm liking that one who like vanishes. What's her name? She's like just the fast zoom. She's like a ninja.
Purple?
I think so. Maybe. I don't even know, but she's not support. I don't think. Well, I'll confirm after the break if that's who I was.
All right. I'm going to say there's not a ninja.
Oh my God. Now I got to look this up. You are dragging me.
I think it's Reina.
Reina.
She goes fast or jet? What is she? What color is she?
Isn't she? Hold on a second. I'm looking this up right now.
Blue?
It is. It's Reina.
Yeah. I love her.
Yeah. Whoops. Is it Reina?
You know, we didn't plan to touch on this, but a big part of main characters, especially when there's a group like this, and something Valorant and a lot of other games do, we're starting to see a lot more of, is when you're choosing from those main characters. And actually, I'm glad you brought Reina up because I'm so excited to talk about this.
It was actually
we didn't plan.
photo and it was Jet. Okay, I just wanted to tell you. It's Jet, not Reyna. Continue. You want to talk about Reyna?
Right.
Like, yes.
That makes more sense on why you think she's a ninja. She's not a ninja.
But, anyways. Welcome to EasyMode.
Welcome to EasyMode. Valorant, Riot, and a lot of other companies are doing a fantastic job at this as games are coming out. And that is sort of like a cultural representation. Just to see Reyna in a game as big as Valorant representing the country of Mexico, for me, it just brings me so much joy.
Wow.
As someone who was born in Mexico, who has family in Mexico, who's like, that is my life and my culture, and that is like what I grew up around. Seeing, even to this day, I'm shocked to see her in the game. I'm like, wow, I know what this is. I get the references. Like, I get what her abilities are based off, like culturally and historically.
Wow.
I'm like, I just never anticipated seeing like someone from a country like Mexico in like a what is it, AAA game? Is that what that would be called? Like a game that's that big? And it's just like
huge.
They do global representation really well. And I think even though I can't play that character because of the play style,
does she not support?
I love seeing her. Her character has a fantastic, respectful accent when speaking the English language, and it's sort of like, and even speaks Spanish in the game. I'm just like, wow, this is great. I love this. This is for me. This game is for me. It includes me in a way that like I don't have to play that role, but I am happy it's there. And I think there's a lot more games doing that, which is fantastic. Dead by Daylight being one as well. We don't really get a lot of insight into these characters' backgrounds, but like the racial diversity is there, the color diversity is there, and that's very nice to see.
Yeah.
I think it's great. I think it's going to make gaming even more inclusive, more for everyone.
Yeah.
And just make it like a very like enriching experience. A game I do want to shout out. I'm gonna have to look it up. Give me one second.
Right. I still can't believe I thought it was Jet. Not Jet. I thought it was Reyna, and then I was like, no,
Reyna.
it's Jet. Well, Jet. I saw the little blaze, and I thought Ninja, but I was wrong. See how much I play Valorant? I play unranked, and I die every time.
We'll get you good. We'll practice together.
Get hella sweaty. Get so sweaty. I did not anticipate starting to play Dead by Daylight and getting so sweaty. Like, I was like, oh yeah, this is just like a casual game. Not casual. Wonderful though. I have so much fun playing it, even though I'm like having a meltdown all the time. So
it's coming out soon. It's like this.
Was it that Witchbrook game you were talking about?
No, it's like a AAA game. It has like the main character is like a woman of color, and it's like magical powers.
Oh.
I don't know. I'll find it and then I'll plug it like on our socials or something, whatever. I'm so excited for that. It looks amazing. And then speaking of, like women leading characters in games, especially in games, we'll talk about that when we get to games where we don't choose our character, or where we don't choose our characters. Fantastic, amazing growing category that I'm obsessed with.
Well, I think we should take a quick 5, refill our cups of water, and then dive into the next segment, which is create your own character, where the possibilities are endless. Let's talk about now designing your own character. I feel like this is something that is all on you. And especially in games where you can just like pick the race and then go down from there. So you start with like the base. They make you choose. And then from there you can design anything that you want, like Skyrim. Did you ever play Skyrim?
Of course. You know how many times I've bought that game for different platforms? These people are draining my wallet.
They actually are. There's no need for me to have it on every console when I'm only on my PC. There's no need.
I have it on PC. I have it on Nintendo Switch. I had it on my Xbox 360. I had it on like another thing after that. What are they doing? Stop release a new game.
They're just so good.
Bethesda. I've paid for the new game.
As I was saying about that, like, that was the first game that I played where I really was able to like design my own character. I did pick an Imperial. That's what I picked off the bat. Not super creative. However, when I did start playing Final Fantasy, I started as a little Lalafell, which is like a little potato. Then I started a new character, and now I'm an Aura. Like Aura, I think I'm pronouncing it wrong, but I'm a dragon. I have a tail. This is the first time I've ever had a character with a tail, and it's like, what? And I spent like over an hour on her, and I love her, but I haven't created a name for her, so I need to redo that. But I love it. I love how these games, especially, have you played Cyberpunk? People loved, my PC can't run it either, so don't even worry about it. But I was watching people just like make their own characters, and this character creation selection is amazing. Like they are going into so much detail now. It's not like it was before. It's like just change your eye color and your hair. No, it's like, all right, let's change your eyebrow shape. Let's change the eye shape. Do you want tattoos? Do you want all the different colored hair? It's amazing. And how we can like, I don't know if this is the same for you, but sometimes I like to create a character that's not like me, like completely opposite, or like how I would maybe picture myself in a fantasy world. I've seen myself as a dragon. I think that'd be kind of cool.
Yes, I love it. Much like yourself, my first introduction into like character creation games was running on my poor little laptop in high school. Was
it The Sims?
No. I mean, there's an in-depth character creation, especially Sims 4.
That's true.
But what's the game before Skyrim? Oblivion?
Or was it Elder Scrolls?
Elder Scrolls Oblivion, I believe. That's the one before Skyrim. That was my first character creation, sort of like in-depth experience, and I thought it was fantastic. Was my game completely bugged, and I never saw my character because I was in first person, and older Elder Scroll games were absolutely wild in how they worked and operated on a PC? Yes. But was it so much fun? Yes. I think there's just so many things you can do with character creation. And I agree with you completely there. Whether it's like an expression of yourself, is this what I'd like to be? Or do I want to be something different for the first time ever? And live out a sort of a fantasy or experience that I don't get to have or don't get to do in other games.
But also like you can create a character that is you. Like you can literally, like you're like, okay, well I just want to be me in a video game. So like I can like role play or like I can be me. I don't have to be somebody else. I'm just myself, but like in a game, which is kind of cool. And I really like that about like these create your own character options.
Yes.
Did you ever play Metal Gear Solid 5?
I haven't.
Okay, so they have a character creation there, but you can only be a man. And I didn't get very far in the game. I definitely should play because it's really good. But they had a very amazing character creation, and something about it just sparked some joy in me, you know?
I love that. What was your character like?
So you just designed your main character of the game. It was like create the character, but you could only be a man. And my character was just hot. Like I was just like, I'm going to be a hot man.
Me, literally, please help.
I sent photos of this character to my friends. They're like, okay, that man is hot. It's a world in which we don't know, right?
It's true. They will know. No one will know.
Yeah.
So I'm currently playing a big sort of not
Baldur's,
MMORPG.
right?
Yes, Baldur's Gate is currently, I'm playing a lot of right now. Just for everyone listening, Baldur's Gate is a D&D style game currently in early access, though a lot of hours of gameplay are available. It is very much Dungeons and Dragons. So if that's something you'd like to experience or get into and start to learn, that is like a great PC introduction into what D&D is like.
Well, similar to like Final Fantasy, where you can like you level up a character, but then you can still have the same character be in a different class. So you can like try anything. Like if there's anything that you want to do, I like these kind of games that like let you just experience and kind of like explore your creativity through the game, because you can go at your own pace, or you can choose to like just keep doing story quests, etc., or you can just like hang out and role play with your friends. Like I think that is so creative, and that's why these kind of games are so popular, because it fits into the kind of niche of these people who maybe they first of all, they like this kind of game, or maybe there's people who just cannot express themselves, or they want to express themselves more. I really like that. These games are very like inclusive, and there's no like anybody can play, and you can play as anything that you want.
Yes.
The only limitations are the ones you put on yourself in these kind of character creations.
It's true. And listen, I put them on myself every time. This
is fine. Yeah.
And you know what's specifically on Final Fantasy, and something I've enjoyed, I made one character in Final Fantasy, and then the queue time to load in was like during the big Final Fantasy everyone wanted to play. The queue time in was like there was like 1,000 people before me to get load into the server, and I said I do not have time for this. As you said before,
sometimes it's long. Yeah,
I spent over an hour making my character. I'm not waiting over an hour to play. I immediately I logged off and opened a different game. But what I do see is a lot of Final Fantasy TikToks is like games like MMORPGs. You can play in a million different styles, and you know, having that addition sort of your character, you know, you role play, or like that sort of becomes that sort of lifestyle socializing game. But also you can but the basic function of the game is still is always there above beyond that. So like there's like a social aspect, and then there's the like story grind aspect, and like those things being there interchangeable, and like your character fitting into both either way, I think is really, really nice.
Something to add on to that is like some people will create their own character and create a whole like backstory for their character.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's amazing. Like you can create this whole lore surrounding something that you created. It's almost like not even like a creative outlet, but it's like a story that you're playing and it's your story. It's your story in their story. There's so many layers. It's like an onion.
And I love that those games create those opportunities for those people. And those characters have real life impact to a lot of gamers.
Yes.
Like,
of course.
If you become famous in a game, and this isn't about fame, this is about, the role that you've committed to, the actions you've committed to, the response, like the time you've committed to games like this as your character that you're like sticking to. Like, people know who people are in these kind of games, and like names get around in social circles, especially in those game communities. And like the opportunity to create that and exist that for yourself, whether it's good or bad or whatever your character does or whatever their story is, like that would not be possible without this create your own character sort of option. If everyone looked the same, or if everyone, those like specific options weren't there for everyone, like there's a lot that you can do in those games. And games like create your own character, MMORPGs, like those are, those create those opportunities, those experiences, and like realities for people that, you'll remember often for like, through your life. Because people, even now, there's like in the gaming world, like social references and gaming references to like World of Warcraft, like it is like historical and it's all there and it impacts a lot of other games without us even thinking or realizing.
Oh, yeah. One last thing to add is these characters, especially like the create your own, can have such a big impact on others that so many people have commissions open for your original character. You know what I mean?
So right. I can't believe I didn't even think about that.
How many of my friends have commissioned somebody to create or recreate the artwork of a character that they've made because they love this character?
Yes.
Like I have a friend who has had the same character for 13 years. Like that is their character. Like they've been playing Final Fantasy from the beginning. So like that is how they play. And it's just it is such a huge impact in their life. Like, okay, and if they're streamers too, they'll have their like emotes be of their character.
Yeah.
So it's always just them, and like the creativity is just, it's so unlimited for
it is
whatever
unlimited.
you want.
And in that same breath, I haven't played this game. I might be interested in playing it on occasion. Let me know if you're interested, Dale.
Okay.
But like even in, that sort of creation customization goes even further in games like Roblox, where like there's people outside of the game who don't play it who are creating custom wearable like cosmetics for people in Roblox. Like anyone can create things in Roblox and sell it in Roblox, and you can make IRL money for it.
Whoa, okay, I've actually never played Roblox. I thought I was too old, so maybe we can like explore our youth together.
Yeah, like you can make cosmetics for Roblox and sell them. Like if you just do a Google search, like you want to buy Roblox cosmetics, like there's different Roblox cosmetics sellers. And
that's so crazy.
Yeah, and everyone's like, oh, where'd you get that? And when it comes to things like that, Roblox is an easily accessible game. Like the coding isn't obviously complicated. It's like basic, squares, polygons, all that. It's like, so it's more accessible to people.
Shapes, colors,
wings. Like it gives people a lot of accessibility and opportunity to create. And people want stuff people make. People are like, where'd you get those wings? Where'd you get that shirt? Where'd you get that? And then like, so cool. Being unique is very interesting in that game because people are like, what is that? What are you wearing? It's a very social game as well as like active. And then to one more, speaking of like sort of create your own characters, a different vein on that. And I've never gotten into this. Let me know if you have, but we know it's popular on Twitch is Grand Theft Auto roleplay servers.
Oh, yes. Okay, so I watch a lot of people stream this game and they create characters that are like not like them at all.
Yeah.
And I love just seeing how they like interact. I've not played this game. I don't know if my PC can run it. I'd love to try, but I don't know. I don't know what kind of character I would create. I would love that though. It's like role playing, but also like expressing like who you want to be, or do you want to be just you?
Yeah.
I think I would probably be like, I don't know, a bad bitch.
I think I would be like a bad bitch sex worker who's like hot and also like keeps the streets safe, but also like secures the bag.
You're on patrol, but you're also like on their shift. Yeah. I got that.
Very much me IRL, I guess.
I love that. That was I really like this segment. I especially since when we talked about this whole episode, it being like characters that you can pick from, characters that you can create. The next one that we're going to talk about is going to be assigned characters, and this is where I feel like we're going to have very different experiences, especially based off of like the games that we've played. So I'm really curious to see what we do that. Especially,
a fiery section, I'm sure. Games where you don't have a choice. It's you either love the character or you hate them. And I think
either
that's
love or
be
you hate. So
fun
stay
to talk
tuned.
about.
Yeah, we're going to come after this short little break and we're going to talk about characters that have been assigned to us.
Can't wait. All right, now we're on to characters that you do not choose, you cannot pick. They are assigned to you, mostly in a lot of like story-based games. You don't really get a choice. That's probably is the biggest sort of category of this. Always very interesting, very large stories that tend to revolve around that character, or that character is like a main aspect of that in.
Have you played any of the like Life is Strange or Telltale games, the characters in which you kind of like choose your own story or follow along like visual novel? Have you ever done anything of the sort?
I've done a few, none of the major ones. So I've never done any of the Life is Strange or any of those. But I do watch other people play them, mainly because I love a game where there's a choice. I love a game where choices have impact. And I find those scenarios, though, exciting, stressful. So sometimes that keeps me away from games like that where like my choices have impacts. And, you know, confession, when I played Fable 3, I grinded for so long to try to make sure I could get the best ending possible because I didn't want anyone to be unhappy in the game. I could not have like a bad ending. Yeah, so I was like, everyone has to be happy at the end of the game. So like I sort of, those games are sort of stressful for me. So I watch other people play them. And I'm like, okay, they made all the good decisions. Let me go see what the bad decisions are that I would never make on YouTube later. But I have not done a lot of those. Have you?
Wow. I actually have. I love visual novels. I love something that I really like about them is you are a main character. However, you do become attached to characters that aren't who you play. And they become like kind of like not like memes, but they, for example, in The Walking Dead, the Telltale games, you do play as Lee. Lee is so impactful, but then you end up playing as Clementine, who is like a character in the game, and you're looking at Clementine through Lee's perspective. So I love the impact of like you start as one character and then you play it as a different character. So it also in Life is Strange, you play as who was it? Was it Alex? It was like Chloe, and then I think that I forgot the main girl's name. She was really annoying, but I liked Chloe more than I liked the main girl. So sometimes you play as a main character, but actually it's the other characters that you're like, I like you, or like you make the game more interesting. And I really like that.
Interesting. That's sort of an interesting factor to a main character story where it's everyone around you who's enriching you as opposed to you impacting other people's lives. That's sort of different.
Think about The Last of Us. In The Last of Us, you do play as Joel, but then you also play as Ellie. And then in Last of Us 2, you play as Ellie, right? Like how did the main character kind of shift? You never actually had the choice to pick, but the story kind of like progresses you in a way. And it's not like, do you hate the character? Because I feel like if you pick a game in which you are the main character and you can't choose your character and you hate that character, you're not going to play the game, right? So these characters have to be like created well enough that you still play them while enjoying the story, right? So just something that I was thinking about.
A character who I love who doesn't have a lot of necessarily like story impact, but is the main character of a story, and I think is sort of a great enigma to a main character, is like Link from the Legend of Zelda franchise. He says nothing. He is sort of like a voiceless hero who just carries out his mission.
Yes.
There's not really a decision factor in that game.
No.
There's not really...
he's so iconic.
But he's there, and I think maybe that's what makes him sort of so lovable, is that you can't hate him for anything because there's not necessarily a choice.
Well, it's also like same with like, did you play Super Mario 64?
Yeah. Mario
has to save Peach. Mario, like there's not too much dialogue. It's not like a choice thing, but like such an iconic character.
Yes.
A game that I do want to talk about that like actually impacted my whole life.
Okay, I'm ready for
it. Have you ever played the Infamous series?
No.
On PlayStation. It was a PlayStation exclusive. So the main character is Cole McGrath. No, Electricity.
Okay.
Electricity. And that game just, oh my God, that was the game that I loved. Literally, you had a choice. You could play good or evil. But Cole McGrath was the main character. And that game, amazing. The storytelling. You can choose either way, and the story does progress. There are multiple endings, but I loved that game. So if anyone is listening and they know what a game I'm talking about, and if you loved Cole too, let me know. I'd also love to know if you played good or evil, because I always played evil.
In that game, Was there a girl with like pink light powers or something?
No.
Like she had like pink light powers? Okay, I'll figure out what game we're talking about after.
It's yeah, we can talk about it after, but it's just men. The whole game. I don't think there was any females in that game.
No, it's not for me.
So long ago. Cole McGrath, yeah, love that character.
I'm trying to think of some other who are some iconic game characters, video game main characters from franchises we enjoy.
Ellie from The Last of Us.
Yes,
you know,
a lot of people love her.
Zagreus
from Hades.
Roguelike,
yes,
very big one.
Got this whole episode started. He's another one where the story just sort of fits in and he just sort of guides it as opposed to having a large impact, which
and he's so lovable.
He's very lovable.
They created him in such a way that is so like everyone can like him. If you don't like Zagreus, then you wouldn't play the game because he's the main character, you know? I'm trying to think of like what other like single player games I've played. I've played like Heavy Rain. I played so Beyond Two Souls. Elliot Page was the main character. There's Detroit Become a Human, which I've not played. These kind of like main like big story games. Oh, I played Alien Isolation. And you play as a woman, and you're trying to get away from the alien.
I watch other people play because
it's
scary
very
and fun.
scary, but it's amazing, and it's so good. I forget the characters' names, but yes.
I mean, there's characters that are interesting. There's sort of going on like the character you play in as in Portal.
Oh yes, yeah.
You don't really know a lot about her. You don't really get a lot of story.
No.
Sort of everything but she's there, and that's who you're playing as.
Yeah, and you're seeing it from like point of view. Like you see it, but you don't. You're seeing it, if that kind of makes sense. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and the same thing that happens along with, the Mario series as well. He's just there.
Yeah.
We don't really get backstory. We get everyone's story except the two main characters.
Yeah, Mario, Luigi.
Which is very interesting.
Yeah.
Second.
I do have one more thing I want to add, though. And for the Resident Evil series, Ethan is such a huge character. And like I played Resident Evil 7, and it was the first game that you actually play as for like the first person like view.
Yes.
Also iconic characters in like the previous Resident Evil series like Jill and Leon. However, in 7 when you play as Ethan in first person point of view, you feel for him, but you also get so angry with him. Like I love the game, don't get me wrong, but his relationship with Mia, oh my god, I can't. I literally can't. You know what I mean?
I know. That game, again, another fantastic launch to a franchise. That is sort of building on their success further and further and further.
And for Resident Evil 8, Lady D, and everybody loves Lady D, hashtag step on me, all of that.
Exactly. What do they call her? Big something mommy? I can't remember the words exactly.
My computer can't run it. I gotta upgrade that GPU. This is like what I really like about this episode, especially it being our first, how we have kind of broken down how there's so many different types of games that kind of like go into who we are as a person and how we can express ourselves. Like even for this last one, we talked about the assigned character. You are the main character, but we've assigned it to you. It still sticks with you. Like to this day, I still think about Cole McGrath, like my favorite game, like Infamous, right?
Yeah.
I still think of that. Like these characters have such a huge impact on our lives. So they are so well designed. And if they weren't well designed, then the games would flop, right? So that's like a big thing that we should talk about,
You can't have that. You can't have a game and not like the character you're playing as and expect that game to be successful.
Exactly. So the main character's got to have something that you either want, have, or respect,
Yeah. And even, I think, and the character can be anything. So like the character can be a piece of shit, which there are games that have a main character who you're playing as who is a piece of shit.
Disco Elysium, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Disco Elysium is a great example. That style of game, which I love. But there just has to be that connection and appeal to that character, an understanding, a reasoning. They can't be a piece of shit for no reason.
Yeah.
And then like that sort of has to play a part into the story. But just as they're doing well, there's nothing worse than having a character that people do not like. Because first of all, no one will play it, so we'll never hear of it.
Exactly. How amazing! Oh, I love that. I am feeling so nostalgic in this last segment of our episode. Like I'm reflecting on all the games that I played. Like a huge part of my childhood was just like playing main story games and how much they've like shaped how I've now become, Steve Harrington talking to Killjoy on the first episode of EasyMode. Like we've come full circle.
It really has, and those kind of games were very big for me as growing up in a like sort of a pre-online gameplay only child. Like that's all I had.
Yeah.
All I had was Legend of Zelda, Super Mario, those sort of solo type games. So, but now I'm like, where are all my friends? I need to play games with them online.
I'm like, you want to play DBD? You want to grind through some DBD?
I want to play some. I'm like, you want to play some story games that we can play together, so I don't have to play them by myself.
Now, I do want to say, unless you have anything final, you want to anything final? Okay. This is kind of what I want to ask you.
I'm ready.
All of the topics that we talked from, so we talked about characters that you choose from, characters that you create, and characters that are assigned to you. Are there any characters that you absolutely loathe, that you absolutely hate, and you like just do not, just go off? That's basically my question. Go off.
I do have one. I do respect this man. He had a job he had to do, and he fulfilled it. And even in retrospect now, we hear from it a little bit. We see him. We don't exactly get a clear answer. But did you play Nintendo 64 Animal Crossing?
No.
Or was it GameCube?
This is my first Animal Crossing ever, was on the Switch. Yeah.
Well, I want to say that you are blessed to not have had the experience, because back in the day, saving wasn't automatic. You had to do a separate save function in that game. You had to talk to your gyroid outside your house and then go in to go to sleep to save. You could not turn off your system. You could not just like leave it or whatever and come back. And every time you reloaded into Animal Crossing, this little mole came up named Mr. Resetti.
I've heard of Mr. Resetti.
And at that age, of however old I was when that game came out, was beyond one of the most frustrating things I've ever experienced in my freaking life. He would give you unskippable lines that went on for actual minutes. Even if you like pressed A to go past them, and it would speed through them. And the other Animal Crossing characters, they don't really talk, so like you would have to sit through minutes of pressing A to get through him giving you speeches. And here's the worst part. The more you didn't save before closing the game, the longer it would be every time you reloaded in.
Wow.
And he would be so mad at you. A little angry mole rat, like little mole, yelling at you, a child, because you didn't save your game.
Honestly, that's character progression.
Sir, I'm barely doing math.
You're still barely doing math.
Sometimes my mom says, I gotta go. I don't have time to save. We're getting in the car and going to the grocery store.
Squeeze, honestly.
There's no autosave feature here.
Back in the day.
Let me live my life.
Honestly.
They punished you hard. And they do reference him in Animal Crossing these days. I don't know if he actually was in the game, or there was just some like line references to the character. He's not in it anymore, obviously, but wow, was that a terrible time. Forever. I'm so glad he's not in it. But like, Mr. Resetti, you're out there. Like, we love you, miss you. Hope you're doing well. Hope you have passed that anger and rage. I get it was your job. Like, capitalism really holding you down. Like, you're stressed. You got to let it out somewhere. I wish it wasn't me, but I get it.
You're
I understand.
fuming. Wow, that was not an answer I was expecting. Oh my gosh.
It was a terrible experience. Wow. Mr. Animal Crossing? Please, you need to apologize to the public for that.
I know.
But also, like, I guess I had to learn the tough way. So, like, both of us have come a long way, I guess.
We have come a long way. For me,
what about you, Dale? Who do you hate?
It's what killer do I hate going against the most? It's Nemesis. Also, like, I just can't deal, and I have not played that which Resident Evil game that Nemesis is part of yet, but I hate him. I literally he's designed so well that I can hate him so much. Like, he's so like, why is he so large? Why you got these tentacles? Why is his neck so veiny? Like, what? I hate him. I think he just needs to, like, honestly, just go home. Go home, okay? Like,
Go home, sir.
I'll get you a coffee. Just leave, okay? Like, you need to leave. You need to leave.
Mr. Entity, take them away.
Take them away.
I'm calling the entity.
Yeah.
I mean, I think he's I agree with you. He's very well designed, and I love his little flesh whip.
Have you gone against the new killer? The bird lady, the crow lady? She is. She's up there with Nemesis. It's just because she's so scary. She's so scary. She goes, and I'm like, okay.
I love birds, I'm kind of excited.
I love birds too, but not when they're like behind my head and going, like, it's too much. I can't deal.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
I cannot believe what an amazing discussion we've had. This has been such an amazing first episode. The main character, the moment, the us, the you, the me, the easy mode. How amazing. Thank you.
Thank you. It was so much fun. I feel like there's so much we could have gotten into. I can't wait. Everyone, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe and download this podcast. We're available on Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, all major listening platforms. If you enjoyed it, would love to have you share it. If you know people like us who are gamers, who love it, like passion, life, brings us such joy, and are looking for a place where there's no judgment, there's silliness, there's wildness, there's fun takes, there's action, drama, adventure, arguments, passion, love,
lust, hunger,
wealth. Not here. Then share this show with them. We are very excited to sort of keep the show going.
We are. And it's like just remember, we are professionally casual gamers. Okay,
we are. We're so good
exactly.
At being
We're
casual.
so good. It's just being casual, right? That's what it is. Henry, I just want to ask you before we go, before we log off. What games are you most excited to play, or what game releases are you most excited for?
A game I touched on in this episode that I also talked about that apparently I'm so excited about. I couldn't remember the name when we were talking about it earlier. Mm-hmm. This is the game I was telling you about. She's a woman living in New York, person of color, finds herself transported into a distant underground magical world, has everything I want in a game. Mm-hmm. It is going to be released this year, May 24th, unfortunately on PlayStation, which I don't have. Maybe it will be on PC. Fingers crossed. It's called Forspoken. Everyone checking out. Keep an eye on it. It looks amazing. Wow. Yeah, it should be. It looks like PlayStation right now. Hopefully they do release it somewhere else. But keep an eye on it, everyone. Forspoken, PlayStation. I'm stoked.
That's amazing. For myself,
what about you?
First of all, I want whoever is listening to get me in contact with the person who has information on Silksong, because nothing has been released and I can't take it anymore. I literally can't take it anymore. You cannot hold this information captive. There are people waiting, okay? But a game that has had information released about it, Haunted Chocolatier. I'm excited for Haunted Chocolatier.
You're so right.
Like, that is coming out. Shout out to Concerned Ape. We love you. Thank you so much for making.
We love you.
Thank you for making.
Babe, we love fan club.
We love you so much. If you ever want to come on the podcast, literally, we would love to have you.
I tell strangers about you, Concerned Ape.
We love you.
I will be like, this game called Stardew Valley? Well, let me tell you about the man who made it. And I will go on
You deserve everything and more. You deserve everything and more. But those are the games that I'm stoked about. Silksong, though, somebody needs to tell me something. Because I cannot anymore,
Dale and I are ready to fight some publishers for video games right now.
We got our fists ready. Oh, God. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you so much for tuning in.
Thank you. It's been a blast. And we'll catch you next week on EasyMode.
Yep, next week with another new episode of EasyMode. Goodbye.
Bye.